Hi, I'm Paul Fagan, the McCain Institute Senior Director for Human Rights and Democracy Programs, and you're in the arena with leaders and citizens who are taking character-based actions. In the Arena is a proud member of the Democracy Group Podcast Network. For more information, visit democracygroup.org. Welcome, everyone. My name is Paul Fagan. I am the director of the McCain Institute's Human Rights and Democracy Programs. Today, we are joined by our current next generation leader, Zaw. And Zaw, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. He is coming from Burma. Zaw, over to you.
Also, thank you very much for giving the opportunity to speak about Myanmar. My name is Hkawng. I'm a 2020's next generation leaders of the McCain Institute. Currently, I'm one of the youth activists that are fighting against the military coup in Myanmar.
So Zaw, as you said, you are reporting from Myanmar, and many of us in the human rights community still refer to it as Burma. So I know there's going to be a back and forth referring to Myanmar and Burma, but thank you so much for joining us. We know it's a very tense situation in Myanmar today, so we really appreciate you, talking to us about this important country and situation. First, let me ask you, what happened on February 1st, and what have you been doing as a reaction to the coup that happened?
What happened on February 1st, it's just a shocking, it was a scandal for everybody, right? At very early morning, even before we wake up, we can call each other because later on, because they just shut down everything, all the communication channel. But what we learned from the state-run media is that they just seized power in a coup and telling that the past November 2000 election was fraudulent. That's why they have to take the coup. So it was without a valid reason, right? Without evidence. And start from that one, everyone have taken the street. And just last couple of days ago, they have a 5-2 movement, and even millions of people taken the street and protest against the military coup peacefully.
And do you think the military expected such a strong reaction from the people of Myanmar, Burma? Do you think they expected this huge reaction?
I think this is not the very first time that we experienced like this, but it happened in 1988 and also in 1960 as well. So 1988 was a lot of bloodshed and a lot of millions of people joined in that movement, and everybody know that. But I think for this one, and somehow I believe that they don't expect it because Myanmar already itself had a lot of crises as well, right? So you have the Rohingya crisis, you have a lot of internet conflict, the armed conflict between the ethnic and the armies as well. I believe, and also in fact, COVID as well, everybody are encouraged to stay at home. I believe that they don't expect at all, but for the people of Myanmar, coup is very dangerous than COVID. COVID is nothing compared to coup.
Right. And as you mentioned, elections were held late last November. The international community essentially endorsed the elections, that they were fair. The ruling NLD party, increased its control over government sectors. So it really looked like, the NLD and other democratic forces, were consolidating, control over Myanmar. Obviously, the military plays an important role and still controls quite a bit of sort of power. But that seemed to have been a threat to the military. Why do you think they chose to have this coup?
It's very interesting. There are 2 points I would like to highlight. One is that 25% of seats of the parliament are already reserved for the ex-military general, right? So what they do need is only 20%. And somehow they expect that they might win, right? But it was just a huge blow for them. And the other factor is that the current General Min Aung Hlaing, Commander-in-Chief, he is going to retire, this coming June or July. So he has already shown that he has a political ambition as well. He wants to be a president. So, because the the older ex-general, they are older retired, they are over 75. So now they get huge ambition as well. So what he trying to do is that they want to control in every sectors of Myanmar.
What do you think is different about this year, 2021 versus 1988, and other moments when people took to the street? What makes this different?
I would say it's a huge difference because now when you see all the demonstrator, all people are what we call Generation Z. They are young people, right, with a scooter, and they have very creative. They are the tech savvy, right? And once we shut down the internet, the next day you see a lot of gamers, right? Those who doesn't interested in politics, they just, taking the streets and they just burst out their angers, and they are just so much in pain. And that's the huge difference, I would say, because they are very innovative. And every time we come up with a new idea, it's completely different. We are living in a very different ages. We are living in a completely different environment. And we are also very connected as well. In 2007, the reference 7 revolution, and 1988, we are not so much connected to the outer world as well. In fact, we have tasted a little bit of democracy as well. We have a little bit of freedoms as well. So we cannot really give up. So that's the huge strength for us.
Let's talk about the issue of social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and others, how Burmese use these tools to organize, communicate. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that is being impacted?
Well, I would say that getting access to information and getting access to the social media and internet is the habit of a society. The reason why I say, because in COVID we are encouraged to see as well. So all the information, we consume information through the internet. When we see internet, Myanmar is in a unique that we use Facebook, because we don't normally use these YouTube or Twitter or Instagram. Facebook is the king of social media, and 20 millions of people, they are actively used on Facebook. So once, because it's very interesting that they just completely shut down all the internet on the coup, stage in a coup on February 1st, right? And the next move was they burned the Facebook, right? And obviously they burned the Facebooks as well. So what we do is that the next day we share VPN, right? Which is the how we're gonna access the internet. I myself, I studied and lived in China, which is Facebook is officially burned. So we just everybody share each other technique, how you have to use, this is where you have to download, like that. So there are many ways, right, that even though the next day after the Facebook, the next day, it's very interesting. Once our Facebook burned, millions of the Facebook users switched to Twitter and Instagram, and everybody said, "Hey, save Myanmar! What's happening in Myanmar?" And the next day, the military didn't expect it, right? And the next day, said, "Okay, we're gonna shut down we're gonna block the Twitter and Instagrams as well." So, but now people have to use the VPN in order to access the Facebook, and in order to mobilize our peaceful protester and to encourage each other to fight against this military coup.
It's really interesting. The way you describe this is that people are staying ahead of the coup plotters, the military, day by day. You're switching from this, you're going to a VPN, you're going to Twitter, you're going to other channels, and the military just seems to be one step behind. What is prohibiting the military from completely shutting the internet down, as we've seen in other countries?
Well, that's a very interesting fact. And thank you very much for pointing out this. Well, it's very interesting. Before they burned the Facebook, we heard the news. There's a speculation going on that because the international airport shut down, there was a plane from China. And then some of the journalists saying that there was internet personnel and Chinese troops as well. And the next day, they used the firewall to block the Facebook. And this current military coup, they are not just politically powerful, they are economically very powerful as well. So they have to run their own business as well. So they are holding this enormous economic power. So it is impossible for them to shut down. At the same time, it will affect not only us, it will affect them as well. So that will be my my observation.
Right. You've seen quite a bit of international reaction to what's happening in Burma, sanctions from the United States, sanctions from the UK and other countries. What matters? What would you say to international government leaders, President Biden and others? What matters to the Burmese people, when it comes to international reaction?
Okay, and before I answer that, just one point that I would like to say that the reason why they haven't shut down completely because they also want to use Facebook in order to spread the false information. For instance, hey, there are police are coming, stop doing all there, everybody share the same thing, and then later on we learned that it was the false, right? So military have to use this social media in order to spread that false information at the same time to incite fears as well.
Right, I think that's an excellent. I love that you pointed that out. Not only is Facebook and other mediums, social media platforms helping, protesters and everyday Burmese take to the streets, the military is also using it to spread false information. So it really, these social media platforms are threading a very fine needle when it comes to this issue. So thanks for bringing that up, because I think that's an extremely important point. Now, let's get back to the other question. What can the international community do to support, effectively, I would say, support the people of Myanmar?
Well, I would say I am very, the people of Myanmar are very much encouraged and are very pleased, delighted to see the Biden administration action, right? They really condemn, and the next day you see people holding President Joe Biden and said, thank you for standing with us and please help us like that. So very first step, we are very much encouraged and we are very pleased and thank you very much for doing that. And at the same time, I want to highlight the fact that it's happened in the past as well, right? So they are very much immune to international sanction, right? That's why I think its effect at the end of the day, it affects the ordinary people like us. So I would say targeted sanctions, it's very, very, very much important. Now I talk about the business, right? So whom they are dealing with, right? And when I say sanction and international, first of all, sanction is very important, but it should be targeted. The other is that when you give the pressure, please give pressure to China and Russia as well. Apparently, we see that in UN Security Council, China and Russia supported, or they said this is just an internet affair. So please put a lot of pressure to China and Russia as well. And the third is that when we support the people of Myanmar, don't just do the top one, but also connect with like this, what we're doing right now, and connect the communities as well, telling them that we are with you. We are doing what we, what we can do the best for your people like that. These three factors, I would say we really affected.
So what would you say to, your neighbors in the region and what they can do to support the people of Burma?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that this is not about political. This is not about one party versus the other. This is not about internet affair. This is about taking our life. This is about taking our order of our freedoms, right? This is about respecting the human right, I would say. The second factor is that if these situations escalated and more blasts happen, it will definitely affect all of our neighboring countries as well. You cannot sit and relax. It will definitely affect. So before it's happened, please support the people of Myanmar, respect the will of the people. Otherwise, this will have what the former Prime Minister of the Indonesia said, grave consequences will happen. And the other is that respect our helping the military group will not. China always like to say that, they want to see the stability of our nation. In order to see the stability of the nation, we must expect and accept the will of the people. Our voices are clearly and loudly, right? So that's, I would say.
How can you see if the multi-ethnic community, the community staying together during this period and continuing to confront the military?
It's very interesting that the tactic that the military uses, I call it fear and divide, right? So they want to put, hey, you have seen it, you heard from your father in 1980, we are very cruel, this military regime like that. And now they use this, they shot gunfire to the protester. At the same time, they want to divide among us as well. For instance, the Muslim versus Buddhist, Buddhist versus the Christian. It's very interesting. And I'm very pleased to see that now a lot of young people, they're saying on Facebook that, hey, we are very sorry that we really didn't stand up for the Rohingya people and for the minority people. And they used to say that I never know that Muslims will stand up against the military regime. They say that this military regime, they shot, right, 17-year-old boy in a broad daylight. How would they do if they were in the mountain region, area that I came from, Kachin State and Rakhine State? They said, oh my God, this is just cruel. I'm just very sorry like that, because people are very united and the level of empathy toward, other different group has increased, and we are very united. And still there are some, just like weeks ago, it's come out that a lot of Christian pastors, they're meeting with the military group, stuff like that. And then you said, no, you shouldn't share this one. We are united each other. Right now, we are not only unstoppable, we are unbreakable as well. Yes, we have political differences. A lot of ethnic people, they don't like this. The Aung San Suu Kyi party NLD, but we used to say that we got the common enemy, which is the military group. Let's fight together this one. After that, we will discuss like that. So
we've been focusing on the Rohingya community for years now. How is that situation for that ethnic group going to be impacted by what's going on now?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that when it's come to Rohingya issue, I would like to say this is an identity issue, right? Still, Myanmar hasn't found out that what we should call each other, right? Burma or Myanmar. And the state councilor, before she became the state councilor, and she used to mention Burma. After that, she sticks to Myanmar. And she used to say that Myanmar is the literary form of Burma. What I'm trying to highlight is that we don't have a common identity that we can share, right? So, because first of all, this is an identity issue where we have to really define what does it mean to be a Myanmar or, to be a people of Myanmar, right? First. Second, once we have defined this identity issue, because that's what we got a conflict, right? They said a lot of people say that no, they are not the Myanmar ethnic, right? They are from Bangladesh, they are Bengali like that. So we don't really have the clear definition of what does it mean to be the people of Myanmar, right? First. And second, we really have to deal with the legal issues as well. Those who committed a crime, they should be charged, right? Because they are, we don't need to show, credible evidence. That's a huge amount of evidence there that they committed crime against the humanity. Those who committed crimes, they should be charged, they should be punished. So I would probably say first, we should define what does it mean, the identity issue first, and others, the legal issue. And that, of course, that will take time, but that will happen only when our country return our democracy back.
What do you see as the relationship with China moving forward with the military coup leaders?
Before state councilor came in, right before the NLD won landslide victory in 2015, that's a smooth relationship with China, because Myanmar were pretty much isolated, and China seems the only one that backed the military regime. So I would say China has a huge interest in Myanmar, right? China have that one belt, one road as well. Myanmar play a very key role for that. I think they cannot lose Myanmar, and that will lose everything as well. So Myanmar play a very, geopolitically, Myanmar is very much important for the China. So from the China side, I would say they will play along with wherever they are in. They are in a leadership position. For instance, in the past, they have a good relationship with State Councilor Dosis as well. They invited her separate times and they visit Myanmar as well. So for the China side, it's all about their interests. It's nothing to do with the people of Myanmar, that I would say. And of course, they have a huge mega project, dealing with the government of Myanmar.
It's very concerning. I think for many of it in the West, you see tens of thousands, upwards of millions possibly that have already taken to the street. Obviously the biggest concern really is what will the military do next? How will it suppress? How will it take action? And we hope that this ends peacefully. We hope that, there is no bloodshed, but history is not on your side, correct? So what can the United States, the international community, regional actors do to prevent such a strong military response?
I would say keep pressure on them, keep telling them that by, doing this massive crackdown on protester, that won't help them anything. Right. So for us, we just don't want to stay this military coup in power. Right. We know that they have an enormous economic power. We know that. So please let the international community know that by using force, right, by cracking down the peaceful protester in a violent way, that won't really help the military as well. It will escalate it more. But now we're talking about politics. Later on, now a lot of young people say that, hey, this company is built by this ex-military general. Hey, this tower is built by this one. A lot of people know exactly where their what I call it bank is, right? Not the literal bank. Where their money is, we know that. So once they do it, I think they won't stop the peaceful protesters as well. So both sides, it will hurt both sides. So let the community, the international community, know that there is no advantages, there is no good for the military using this lethargy force, to crack down on peaceful protesters, because it won't help. It won't help the military. They will really hurt, right?
So Zaw, you're a next generation leader of the McCain Institute. You are obviously taking a leadership position, as are what looks to be thousands, if not millions, of Burmese throughout the country. Where do you get your inspiration to continue this mission to confront the military?
You know what? It's very, I've been thinking that this one, and as myself, always very proud to be a next generation leaders. When we say cadre-driven leader, what does it mean? We have a very perfect definition. It's doing the right thing in the right way for the right reason. Once I arrived back home to Myanmar, and then I started to train this cadre-driven leadership training to diverse group of young leaders. Everybody now, they came out. And I'm very delighted and very proud of my fellow citizens that they are doing the right thing in the right way for the right reasons. Even today, when the police, beat and arrest the peaceful protester, one guy, he said, I'm gonna grab knife and, gonna stab this police. Everybody just said, no, we against violence way, we are peaceful protester. We are non-violent movement. We believe in that. What we don't want to see this one, it will escalate them more. So this is what happened in Myanmar. So, you know what? We are inspiring each other. We are encouraging each other. At the end of the day, we, the people of Myanmar, have to make our own destiny, not our neighbors, what kind of country that we would like to go. That is exactly what cadre-driven leadership means. And I'm very pleased. Even today, I myself thinking and saying that, oh my goodness, my mission has completed. I see people have, huge amount of empathy toward different groups. Now we see the similarity between different groups, right? Everybody, the Rohingya, they said, we Rohingya against military coup. You know what? It makes us to see that, the government, the military government trying to divide us, but we came to see it. They are big. Because of this movement, we became very united. We become understanding each other. When you talk about mutual understanding, there's no definition of that, but we can see clearly what does mutual understanding mean. So moving forward, we're gonna inspire each other. We're gonna encourage each other. We wanna hold hands in hand, and we will fight until this battle is over. And I'm a huge fan of John Lennon. It sounds for one day, right? The glory, right? One day when the glory is come, it will be ours, the people of Myanmar. Because I see that thousands of immigrant workers in Thailand, millions, thousands of refugees in Malaysia, thousands of professional workers in Singapore. When people are united, Myanmar would be a huge benefactor for not only our regional, but also for the global communities as well. I'm not saying that it's an imaginative way. It's a fact. Before the military coup came in 1962, we are the one who even one of our former Prime Minister Unu came to the United States, and he even donated to the US soldiers who were wounded, right? So that kind of nations, we were a very proud nation because we believe in federal democracy. That is the power of democracy. We're not gonna lose this. We will fight until we win. The glory will be ours.
Well, so I think we're gonna end on that moment. You are an inspiration. Your words of, peace, of peace, unity, character-driven leadership, standing up for causes bigger than oneself. You epitomize that. We see that. We encourage you to do more. We encourage you to be safe.
Thank you so much.
So you are doing an amazing work, and we will continue to be in contact. Are there any parting words you would like to share with us before we go?
Well, I'm very pleased to, again, and very proud to be a next generation leader. And I used to say that this is just, divine plan, right? After the COVID and everything, this year, the next generation leaders, has been postponed like that. So it was just a very perfect time for me as well. When I was disconnected, and once I get the internet back, Eddie and a lot of my friends from the McCain Institute, my cohort, everybody's show tremendous amount of support and concern, me personally and my family and my community. I would say it means a lot because we are disconnected. We feel that, nobody's understand us, but you are the one, who are there for us. Virtually with a message like that means a lot. And it's really contagious. I told everybody. And in fact, once I reached out to the Los Angeles Mayor Office was my host organization. Once I reached out, right away, constantly, the mayor of Los Angeles, he just tweet, right? I asked for a tweet. He just tweet and say that Burma is a country and I love these people. That means a lot. And the next day, Burmese people in Los Angeles, they just went out to the Los Angeles, the mayor office, and they said, thank you for supporting our people in Myanmar. And in fact, our leader of the department, deputy mayor of Los Angeles, the ambassador Nina's as well. Last couple of weeks ago, she sent me another message. Zor, just say that I'm safe. That would be really means a lot. So again, it means a lot for me personally. I am forever grateful to you, to you all, and the people of Myanmar as well. So I would say, please continue to support our causes. And thank you very much for doing so. And I believe that you're going to do as well. So I always seen the United States as the champion of democracy. We also look up to the United States. And this is exactly what we see. I have tasted and seen the democracy in action in the United States. It was my very first time going to the United States as the next generation leader. I want to bring that movement. I want to bring that opportunity. I want to bring that, what does it mean, right? Access to the basic human right, everything, equality. So you will see me that because of the McCain Institute, me and other Myanmar leaders are going forward. Please continue support, and thank you very much.
Zoth, thank you so much for your kind words. We really, it's really about you. It's not about us, but you are part of our McCain family. It's great to hear that the other NGLs in the community that you developed here in the United States is behind you. We are behind you. So throughout all of this, you have this support. So thank you again. Again, stay safe. We will be in touch. And thank you so much for joining us today.